Now that's a beautiful morning. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut out my cardboard template that I'll use to trace for my 3/4 inch plywood, and I'm going to do this on top of the 2x2s because I think that'll give us a little more accurate representation of what this looks like up here rather than doing it on the floor. I created this little scribe thing. I guess it's called a scribe. So a cheap painter stick, a pencil or a pen, and a hand clamp. And what I'll do is I'll run this along the edges, and it'll at least give me a preliminary line on the cardboard that I could cut and then start to get better accuracy from that. So alright, so this is take one. See how this goes. Be right back. So good news, you can actually flip it, and it's certainly close enough. Got to put some bracing under there. It's certainly close enough to use. So I've got two sides done. This is another one of those areas where it just starts to rise, the floor of the van just starts to rise up. So I think what I've got to do is get a table saw and kind of cut it that way, a little bit on an angle, remove some of this material here, and then I should be able to put something there and it'll sit flat. Check it out, check it out, check it out. 2 pieces of big cardboard, painter's tape, and I use my little scribe thing to figure out how to set this up. So it works good on both sides of the van. So it works on the left side, flip it, and now I can use it on the right side. It's not quite half the length of the van this way, so I need an extra 5 inches between this and its flip to cover the whole van. So I noted that I need 5 more inches. Now, I was going to transfer this to Baltic Birch, but that stuff's like $5 million a sheet. So instead, I'm going to go get some 1/4 inch ply, some cheap stuff. I'm going to trace this onto that, cut it, run it the whole length of the van, make sure it all fits. And once I know that that's working, I'll transfer that to the Baltic Birch. That way I know there's no problem. It's a little more expensive that way, but at least I'm not wasting some huge piece of massively expensive plywood. So that's it. Let's go shopping. So this is the setup I'm using to trace my template onto my plywood. So I went ahead and I bought this 1/4 inch junk plywood. It was like 14 bucks, probably should be about 5, but with the cost of things today, it's 14. I will trace this out onto this junky plywood. I will cut it. I will fit it into the van. When I make sure the whole thing fits perfectly, then I'll transfer that to my Baltic Birch, and I know it'll fit solid. So we're going to go ahead, trace, cut, and then we'll get it into the van. not bad. Not great. Not bad either. Alright, so we'd like to say that we're done with our subfloor, but that would be a lie. What we are done with is the 1/8 of an inch cheap plywood that we've traced our form onto and laid out. So that looks pretty good. Now what we've got to do is take this and transfer it to the Baltic Birch plywood. So tomorrow we get to go spend $300 on plywood. And I'm excited about that. How about you?
Oh yeah.
We are very excited about that. So,
but really important to have a good foundation and good flooring. So
yeah, especially with us, because our van was the floor was all wonky. So this will help give us a nice surface to put everything on. So,
absolutely.
Recurring theme: it's hot. It's Georgia. It's like August, so it's been about 90 degrees this whole week. So if we could change one thing, we would say do this in October.
Yes,
right?
Definitely the fall.
October would be better.
Yes.
Okay, that being said, we're going to get some ice cream, and we will talk to you tomorrow. So I know I said we'd be starting this in the morning, but it's actually about an hour from sunset. We've been watching our daughter play volleyball all day, and she did awesome. So we came back here, and we stripped off the templates that we made yesterday. We left it down to the bare studs. And now if we go back here, this morning we spent $400 on plywood. So if you want to see what a $129 piece of plywood looks like, this is it. So this is the Baltic Birch that you hear about all the time. This is not regular birch plywood. Birch plywood that you get in your big box store will have a layer of birch on top, and then the plies underneath it will be all softwood, some kind of stuff like that, some much cheaper filler wood. This is solid Baltic wood. Layers all the way through. So you've got one layer where the grain goes this way, then they alternate layers of the grain, but it's all hardwood birch with an exterior grade adhesive between them. So it's extremely strong. Probably not the prettiest stuff to stain or anything like that, but it's extremely strong, holds a screw real well, doesn't flex much, water resistant, so it's really good for camper conversions. Now, the normal stuff at the big box store is about $80 a sheet. This was $130, so $50 more per sheet. Not trivial, of course, not cheap, but we felt it was worth the extra money. So we're gonna lay out the templates, we're gonna trace them, we're gonna get cutting, and we'll be back.
Ready up.
Good. One more time.
Sure, why not?
Everything else looks good over there, right?
Yeah.
All right, that was one.
Two more to go. Okay. Woo! Yeah, baby. Yes.
All right.
All right. Woo. Subfloor is temporarily in.
Wow.
That was a lot of work.
That's a lot of work, and again, it's hot. So it looks like we're at the same place we were at yesterday, but now instead of 1/8 inch plywood, this is 3/4 inch Baltic Birch, which is not easy to work with at all. It's very hard, splinters pretty easily. It's hard to cut. It's heavy, but it's a super solid surface, so it's also very expensive. So you don't want to. You want to make sure you've got a good template before you get started on it. So tomorrow we get to lift all this out again. We'll glue down the 2x2s underneath it. Once they're glued, these will go back on top, and we'll put a ton of weight on top of it to keep them adhered to the floor. Then they come up again. We put in the insulation, and then they go down again. So quite a bit of work still to do on the subfloor. So.
But it's really important.
Yes, it is.
It's very important to have a good foundation.
Yeah, super important.
So, yeah.
So that's it. We'll be back tomorrow to do the rest, and we will see you then.
Bye.